I hate to say it, but I think the Edmonton Oilers might be in must-win territory tonight. Must-win, can't lose, whatever way you want to slice it. This is the biggest game of the NHL season tonight going down. Game 4 at Amarant Bank Arena. The boys, they had 2 days to sit on that loss, sit and dwell. 2 days to think about it. They practiced on Tuesday. Yesterday, supposed to be an off day. Nah, fuck that. Basically, everyone on the squad was on the ice yesterday, because these boys mean business, I mean business, and buckle up for what I'm sure is about to be a very nerve-wracking game for the Stanley Cup Finals. But hello, what up, and welcome to Pregaming with Bordzy, brought to you by Sherwood Ford the Giant, and is a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today, because, say it with me, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Need some good juju, because Bordzy's bankroll, it was perfect for games 1 and 2. Dube left me. Went 1 for 3. Didn't really even come close on some of those. Tonight, I'm swinging for the fences on Bordzy's bankroll. I'm going down with the ship, or we're going to come back to Edmonton with everybody being up. Joined by Kumzi, Cam Lewis, writer here at Oilers Nation. And Kumzi, like I said, buckle up, brother, because this is must-win territory, can't lose territory for the Oilers. Obviously, doesn't go the way you want. You're never out of it. This team came back from 0-3 last year. But damn it, after the Oilers getting shit pumped the way they did in Game 3, we need a response. Kumzi, give me a vibe check heading into this one.
The vibes are fine. I mean, it's hard to feel exceptionally well after losing 6-1 in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final, but we've seen the Oilers bounce back plenty of times, either in the playoffs, during the regular season, over the past few seasons. They're not a team necessarily that's going to take one bad game and then have that turn into a handful of stinkers. You know, back-to-back losses in the playoffs for the first time since the first round against the LA Kings. And then if you go back to the regular season, there was only 2 instances where the Oilers had a losing streak go 3 games or longer. There was their season opening 3 games, lost all 3, slow start. And then there was right after the 4 Nations break, they wound up losing, I believe it was 4 or 5 consecutive games. Awful road trip out of that break, but they always wind up breaking out of these funks. This isn't a team that goes into huge losing streaks, especially not in the playoffs. This is a team that, you know, took down the Vegas Golden Knights and Dallas Stars in 5 games each, and one terrible game against the Florida Panthers doesn't mean that the series is over. Think back to last year. I mean, the Panthers lost a game. What was it, 8-1 in Game 4? And they still won the Stanley Cup. So the Oilers can bounce back from Game 3 and still win this series.
I read that information somewhere earlier today online, Oilersnation.com. Might have been a little bit of Kumzi's game notes, the starting information. You can find that at Oilersnation.com. Also, Liam Horban had an article talking about how, paraphrasing here, since 2017, every cup winner has gotten blown out at some point in the Stanley Cup Finals. Obviously, the Panthers, they were that team last year, losing 8-1. Either way, point being, it's only one game, and the Oilers got an opportunity to turn the page, tie this bitch up, drag him back to Edmonton. But let's get caught up in the chat right now. It's Austin, as it should be. Game 4. We got to get everything going the right way. We need our juju tonight. He says, Bordzy, fire up to just fucking band, baby. He said it the way that he wrote it. This is our time. Hope we'll never die, my ON fam. Here we go. Cedric said, I can't wait for the show to start. To that, I say, thank you, dude. I appreciate it. Southpaw, happy game day, y'all. Let's go Oilers. Veronica, let's go Oilers. Let's go. She thinks Connor McDavid's bringing the cup back to Edmonton. Maynard, Bob Stauffer not sounding overly optimistic today. That couldn't be me. We give you all the reasons to believe. Also, games 4-7, Mr. Game 4 Stuart Skinner, Mr. Games 4-7 and Chris Knobloch. I like the Edmonton Oilers tonight. Plus 125 on the money line. It's a little too juicy for me. Vinny's in. I can't believe Connor Hellebuck won the Hart. He would have been 3rd on my ballot. Leon got snubbed. I've had a plus 450 Leon Draisaitl MVP ticket since like November. It was leaked. I guess Brett and I found it out 5 minutes before they gave the award away.
I just found out
that it was leaked. And then I sat here and I was like, can I cash out? Can I cash out? Bet365 was on the ball. They wouldn't let me cash out of that one. So congrats to Connor Hellebuck, blah, 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 whatever. That should be Leon Draisaitl's trophy. The point I did make, it's very funny. You think Leon Draisaitl gives 2 fucks about that trophy right now? He's in the locker room, dialed in, staring at a brick wall, because he's ready to go tonight. Bob Stoffer, the other one in the chat, says lots of haters saying Davo and the boys have already played their best. Let's show them what's up tonight. Let's go Oilers. Also, Stephen A. Smith, I got a clip for you later on in the show. I'll just leave it at this. Stay in your lane, buddy. I don't know why you're talking hockey, especially wearing that fucking hat. Either way, I digress. Fighting Amish is in. Let's freaking go. Big game 4 for the boys. Year of the Cup. Jordan's in, says LFG lads. Jordan's also looking for Oilers tattoo ideas. Also, update on the tattoo bet, because people, they keep asking me all the time. Brett is going to get his tattoo. We're just waiting to turn it into summer content so we can have our job during the regular season continue along in the off season. Got to find a way to fill those YouTube hours. You know what I'm saying? But Brett, what are we thinking? Still Jake Wallman tattoo?
I'm still thinking Jake. Have you seen this guy play in the playoffs, dog? This guy is a bona fide dog. Really. Love him. Yes.
There's one. There it is. Davin's in, reporting the big news. Taylor Swift will be in the building tonight. He also said bet the house on Jeff Skinner, who will be making his Stanley Cup Finals debut. He's also a point-per-game player in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Can he let that ride? Plus 230 tonight? I don't know. You let me know. Cheryl's in. Shake off the bad juju. Nothing but positive vibes here for a big Oilers W, because it's a motherfucking cup year.
Cup year.
There it is. There it is. See, even Kumzi, we got to bring up his energy a little bit right now. Come on, it's our night tonight. Shout out Jeff Skinner with Taylor Swift. That video is absolutely hilarious. I've seen this one back in the day. Jeff Skinner looks like a 14-year-old going to meet like his favorite artist. That's my boy. Third line left wing tonight. Here we go. For the show, we will be joined, I think, by Liam Horban. Brett, you let me know if he ever pops into the show at any point, because they were at the Elbow Room. They had to change up the pregame vibes. They were at Yard House before. Now they went to the Elbow Room. They're on their way to the game right now. Liam's going to give us a vibe check, and then our pal Devan Dubnyk will join us at the end of the show for Devan Dubnyk's keys to a victory. Kumzi, how'd you feel after that Game 3 loss, right? Because Edmonton got the shit kicked out of them in more ways than one, on the scoreboard and physically, absolutely blown out of the water. And I'm curious, did that blowout loss change your view of the series in any way? Because I think some fans are more down than usual. I also think that's attributed to the fact we've had 2 days to sit on our hands and just relive the painful game that was Game 3. It's only one game. Doesn't matter how you lose, whether it's 0.4 seconds, whether you blow it in the third period against Dallas. This Oilers team, it's one. They've shown that they can bounce back before. Also, they've been through a little bit of everything. They were down 0-3 to this Panthers team, fought and clawed. They always find a way to respond. But Dubnyk had a point. He said he thought that game wasn't as bad as we all remember, that it was basically the Oilers were in it in the second period. Then the wheels fall off. It turns into basically a glorified WWE match going out there on the ice, and that because of the way it ended and how many little amount of players was left on the bench, that it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, but it wasn't actually that bad. I call tonight a must win. I think the Oilers are still confident, and I think the Panthers, they're enough of a veteran group. They've been blown out before, like we talk about. They know it's only one game. Did your opinion change at all after the blowout loss in Game 3?
No, I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, like the Panthers had this last year. Lots of teams, like you said, have this en route to the Stanley Cup final. It's a marathon grind going through the playoffs, and sometimes games, even in the Stanley Cup final, where you think, oh yeah, everyone's got to be locked in at all times, no matter what. Still, despite that, games will escape.
That's not realistic.
Yeah, it's just there's no way. You played so many games over a period of time. The Panthers were coming home. They were fired up after their double overtime win. The Oilers said they had moved on from what happened last season and they can use it as motivation. But at the end of the day, it was probably a shitty feeling flying to Florida for this game, and then being there in the Cup Finals and seeing the fans again, and the whole situation brings back bad memories. I think that we've seen the Oilers enough times come back from a terrible loss, like you said, whether it's the last second goal or the blown lead, or they just get the wheels beaten off of them, any variety of those things, they always seem to bounce back. It's not that this happened in one game, it'll happen again no matter what. No, that isn't really what happens to the Oilers. I feel like for them, they were better off getting this everything goes wrong game out of the way, where the goaltending's terrible, the forwards aren't doing anything, the defense looks soft, everything just looks bad. They're undisciplined, they look rattled. everything was wrong. Get it over with, get it behind you, move on. They're not going to play in game 4 all sensitive and upset with what the Panthers are doing. They're not going to respond now. They've got it out of their system, so I think they can now play a more calm and relaxed Oilers game.
I like that theory. Get your shit game out of the way all in one, just throw it, and then here we go. Obviously, that wasn't the Oilers' intention, but I think they're a veteran, experienced squad. They mean business. And also, by the way, I keep saying the term must win. Text our friend Dubes, and I said, are we in must-win territory today? He goes, oh, yeah, we are, buddy. I said, damn it, reality, it hurts. Because earmuffs if you don't want to hear these numbers. So teams that go up 3-1 in a best-of-7 series. So this is all NHL best-of-7 playoff series, the entire history, not just the Cup Finals, everything. Team that goes up 3-1, they win the series 91% of the time. But if the series ends up getting tied 2-2, it's an even 50-50 split. NHL.com had 600 total best-of-7 NHL series is played in history, 300 to 300. So it's a coin flip if you can get it done. Obviously, these numbers don't totally mean anything, but it's a strong indicator. Yes, you'll be coming back to Alberta for Game 5, but that's a spot the Edmonton Oilers and their fans do not want to be. The other thing was very apparent in Game 3. The Edmonton Oilers need to stay out of the shit. I'm sorry I don't have a better way to describe that, but I think everyone with 2 eyes saw in Game 3 the Oilers got sucked into Florida's style of play, and they got beat up, like I said, on the scoreboard and physically. Tough image end of the game. Corey Perry's like crazily chasing around Nico Mikkola, and he pointed his finger and was laughing in Corey Perry's face. That's a tough image, and some of the players that the Florida Panthers players that were getting the Oilers rattled, it was their fourth line guys doing exactly what you want the Oilers to do and respond. There's also the theory, just get it out of your system. They were angry. Jake Wallman squirting water bottles. I also didn't realize AJ Greer took his glove, threw it in the bench. So that's why Jake Wallman was squirting him with water. All fair play, in my opinion. I think we're going to need to see some adjustments here from Nobby. I think he's been very clear through the 2 days. I think everyone in the media has said, yeah, we can't take that many penalties. We can't get sucked into that WWE match that it was. Thoughts on the Oilers? They got sucked into Florida's game, dude. No other way to put it.
No, they absolutely did. I mean, this is what the Panthers do.
Yeah.
They send it's largely the 3 lines they use, but in that Game 3, they were rolling all 4 forward lines, and each one of those lines has at least 1 or 2 guys on it that's going to be able to get under your skin. A Matthew Tkachuk, a Sam Bennett, a player like that, or even an AJ.
Brad Marchand.
Yeah, Brad
Greer.
Marchand,
It's every
AJ
line.
Greer on the 4th line. It's every single line. They have someone that's going to do something annoying. They're going to throw a hit. They're going to get their stick in there and jab you somewhere. They're going to, trip you after the whistle, do something like that. And the Oilers, I thought, in Game 1 were really good at avoiding this stuff. In Game 2, they got a little bit worse, but it was fine. The game went to overtime. It didn't really, have a major impact on it. But by the time we got to Florida for Game 3, it was just the Panthers were living rent-free in Edmonton's head for the entirety of that game, it felt like. And even though the crowd in Florida was pretty quiet until the 3rd period, it didn't seem as loud as you would have thought the crowd would be for, the first home game of the Stanley Cup Final for the defending champions. But it wasn't really until the 3rd period the crowd got super into it. But the Oilers just couldn't handle what Florida was doing last game. And I do hope from Edmonton's perspective that this is one of those, all right, we got the worst out of the way. We got real too pissed off about it. And now we know that they can't let them under our skin anymore. And that's the end of it for the series, because if this persists, then the Oilers are not going to win.
Yeah, no, they got to delete that one. I said you take the tape physically, you bury it out back, and there's nothing you can take from it. Also, want to give a quick shout out to Odd Company Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Perfect for game day, perfect for every day of the week. Absolutely. What's perfect squared for Stanley Cup Finals Game 4? This is stressful as shit. And some Odd Company Nation beer goes down smooth. Pick them up 2 locations in the Edmonton area, downtown or Ritchie, or simply check liquorconnect.com to find out which local liquor stores are carrying these bad boys. Also, a couple super chats in here right now. Reminder, all your super chats in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation. The Silver Merlin's in $13.99. Hope will never die. Let's fucking go, boys. I like that one. Tammy's in, my queen. $10. I have it on good authority. Sam the Lamb has been sacrificed for tonight's game. So tonight we win. For Ben, Year of the Cup. Oh, we're doing human sacrifices now? Who's Sam? I guess Sam's not a human. It's in the name, Sam the Lamb. Either way, do whatever you got to do. We need good juju for the Edmonton Oilers. So the Oilers, Chris Knobloch, king of adjustments. We know games 4 through 7, his record with the Edmonton Oilers. And I think the adjustment we're going to see in Game 4 is an emphasis on playing with speed. And Nobby's lineup decisions, they kind of reflect that. None more so than Connor Brown entering the first line for the Edmonton Oilers. He's going to play with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Connor McDavid, and Brownie, replacing Corey Perry, who will then shift down to the fourth line. I like the move. I love Corey Perry and what he brings, but I think the one way to combat Florida's physicality, especially on the forecheck, Oilers, we know it. They're a puck possession team, and a skilled team. And if you can get the puck up to your forwards, McDavid needs someone with some boots on his wing, and I think this is going to work out. We've seen at points in the regular season, McDavid and Brownie looked very, very good together. We know they go back to their junior days, and I just think Connor Brown might be exactly what the doctor ordered, right? He moves well. He's got good hands. He can carry the puck in on his own throughout the blue line, which is, I think, something the Oilers have struggled with. Then that can create puck possession. I just think he's more than qualified to bring a boost into that lineup. Thoughts on Connor Brown and the emphasis on speed for the Oilers tonight? Nuge even mentioned it in his pregame interview. We need to go, and have the puck on our sticks.
Yeah, that line needs to have a more effective forecheck. I think Ryan Nugent-Hopkins playing on the wing with Connor McDavid, of course, not at 100%. Yeah. He was a game-time decision for Game 3. Looks like he's going to play in Game 4 as far as we know, but also doesn't look 100%. That's what we can definitely say. And as effective as Corey Perry's been in these playoffs at both getting under the skin of opponents and coming through with some goals, he doesn't necessarily have the wheels or the boots to keep up with Connor McDavid on the top line, checking against the Florida Panthers, doing what he's got to do in a series like this. So we've seen Chris Knoblauch make a lot of in-series adjustments before. The one that sort of reminds me of this situation was the Dallas series last year in the Western Conference Finals. They win Game 1 in overtime, exciting win in Dallas, and then they lose the next two after that, come back in Game 4, and it's a pretty different lineup. That's when Philip Broberg came in and Cody Ceci was moved down. Philip Broberg, of course, is playing with Darnell Nurse. So there's another big change worth mentioning is that Troy Stetcher is coming in place of John Klingberg. So if that can make Darnell Nurse more effective, that's really important for the Oilers, because as much as they need their forwards going with speed and pressure and energy and all of that, their defense has got to be a lot better too.
They got caved in Game 3. One guy specifically, John Klingberg, I think also horrible timing for Payton to buy brand new white John Klingberg jersey. Basically, the moment he did that, Klingberg's play has gone down. Connect the dots if you want, because I've already been blaming him specifically. But yes, we'll talk about Jeff Skinner in a moment because he's entering the lineup. But you talk about the decor, the changes that are made, the adjustments that Nobby's going to make, and he's switching up every single D pairing. So and it depends on the way that you want to look at it, right? So one pairing will be Brett Kulak on the left side with Evan Bouchard. Your other pairing, Stetcher with Darnell Nurse. And then your other one, it's a little bit of a wild card, and I love it, is Matthias Ekholm playing with one Jake Wallman. So when you look at that six-man unit there, what we know, Kulak and Evan Bouchard work very well together. They did for 3 rounds of the playoffs until Ekholm had returned. I also think we know Brett Kulak. He plays better with more minutes, and he definitely plays better on his natural left side, which is where he's going to be. Stetcher and Nurse, they just work. Do I have any idea why? Does it make any sense that guy, HDMH King, height don't measure heart, is the Darnell Nurse whisperer? It makes no sense.
His best partner since Matt Benning.
And you're just gonna ride with it. We're not gonna question it. We know Stetch, he leads the league in effort, and Darnell can be a roller coaster from time to time, but we know that pairing works. And if your wild card parent is going to be Matthias Ekholm, who through and through, when fully healthy, is your best defenseman, playing with your second best defenseman, I'll say right now, Jake Wallman, who's playing some of the best hockey of his career. I love the way that six-man unit looks. I think this is the way they should be moving things forward. We'll talk about it a little bit later on, how things have kind of been changed up since Ekholm has returned. But when you look at that six-man unit, Kumzi, thoughts, feelings? Because I think this is the way to go. We know that 2 of the 3 pairings definitely work together, and I have a hard time believing that Ekholm-Wallman aren't going to, because we know X works great with a puck mover like Evan Bouchard. Jake Wallman is that type of player. Thoughts on the pairings?
Yeah, I like the Troy Stetchers being brought back into the lineup. I thought he's kind of provided Edmonton a nice spark with his simple game that he plays, even during the regular season. Think all the way back to that 4th game of the year against the Philadelphia Flyers when the Oilers came out of the gates 0-3, and Troy Stetcher was the one. He got into a fight with Sean Couturier in the 3rd period after Couturier bumped into
Stuart
Stuart
this
Skinner.
somewhere today.
Yeah, and that was that completely changed Edmonton's early season. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen in this game, that Troy Stetcher is going to get into a fight with Alex Barkov or something like that. But I mean, John Klingberg had a very solid playoff run, and it made sense that Stetcher was the one that came out of the lineup. But I think bringing him back in is going to sort of give the Oilers a little bit of a boost. It's going to give them that sort of that raw energy. He's you think back to the 2020 playoffs with the Vancouver Canucks in the bubble during COVID, and that Canucks team came. I think they went to Game 7 in the second round against the Vegas Golden Knights, and I think the Canucks that season were punching well above their weight class, and their number one D-man in the playoffs is Troy Stetcher. I think he's one player that can punch well above his weight class, and then being brought into this series, I don't think he's going to come into this game and not capture the opportunity.
Hey, we've seen him physically punch above his weight class, and it's looked pretty damn good. Once again, don't know why it works with him and Darnell Nurse, and I got to listen to Troy Stetcher's pregame interview today, and he was talking to Mark Spector, and he goes, dude, you know the type of player I am. He's like, how do you feel about coming into the lineup in this situation? He goes, I've been doing it all season long. My job is to come back, grab pucks, break it out of the zone cleanly. And that's really all we're looking for here with Darnell Nurse. So Stetch, hope that goes well. Jeremy's in. He says, Stetcher is such a gamer. I love it. We're also going to be joined by our pal Liam Horban for a vibe check in just a minute. I see he's getting ready. I think he's in the arena right now as well. But the other change, Jeffrey Scotty Skinner is going to be in the lineup for the Edmonton Oilers, making his Stanley Cup Finals debut. He's coming in the lineup in replace of Victor Arvidsson, which I have no problem with. Jeff Skinner might be the most consistent playoff performer of all time. 2 games, 2 points. Can he do it again tonight in his Cup final debut? He's slated to play with Adam Henrique and Trent Frederick on the third line. I like the move. I like the addition. I think you need to bring some skill in there, something to jumpstart that third line. Because, Rico and Freddie, a little bit snake bitten so far here in the Cup finals. I also have this other theory. Once again, we know Nobby. Depth chart, just a recommendation. He changes everything up. I think I'd like to see Jeff Skinner get some shifts with Leon Draisaitl throughout this hockey game, because as we saw Game 3, Leon Draisaitl, nearly invisible. He had 0 shots on goal. Yes, the Oilers were on the PK for so much he couldn't really get in the groove, but Evander Kane had one of his worst games he's had in a while. And then I kind of mentioned it to you before the show. I love Kasperi Kapanen, but he does tend to go through this cycle of comes in a top 6 spot, shines for 3 games, then that shine tends to wear off a little bit. I'd like to see Jeff Skinner get some opportunity to try and jumpstart Leon Draisaitl, but either way, Jeffrey Scotty Skinner getting his Stanley Cup final shot. 1+ point, plus 230 at Bet365. Yes or no?
I can see it. I feel like the most 2024-25 Oilers things that could happen is Jeff Skinner comes into the game, scores a goal, and is a healthy scratching game butt. That would be like the most Chris Knoblauch Oilers 24-25 thing possible. Yes,
it would be. Okay, I see Liam's still testing some things, so let's quickly do our need to know information.
Sure.
Courtesy of Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because only the finest tasting meat products earn that sweet, sweet Wilhauk name, made from 100% Alberta beef. Their jerky is aged, seasoned, smoked, and marinated to savory perfection. They gladly fill orders of any size. You can find their jerky, sausage, and other products exclusively out of their Leduc location, or you could simply just come on down to Greta Bar Yag, where we have a shit ton of Wilhauk beef jerky. We're doing a jerky toss. I've been throwing out T-shirts. I still will be throwing out T-shirts.
Brett did his pregame
gift
jerky
cards,
already.
everything. Here you go, Bert. Here you go. There you go. There's a good boy right there. Yeah, hey, some traditions we've covered on pregaming. Some superstitions are bigger than others. And we're getting our jerk on.
Some are harder than others.
Throughout. God damn it. Oilers need to know information. Obviously, I just touched on it. Jeff Skinner in for Arvey. Stetch in for John Klingberg. Stuart Skinner is confirmed starting goaltender, and we know he is Mr. Game 4. RNH, the Nuge, has been dealing with an undisclosed injury. He didn't practice on Tuesday, did not take part in the optional skate yesterday, but you know the Nuge is going to be ready to go. The Nuge is going to be huge. Chris Knoblauch, I keep talking about, expresses the need for speed in this game. That is why Connor Brown's up on the top line. Corey Perry moves down to the 4th. Corey Perry's still going to be on the power play. He'll still get opportunities in the offensive zone after icings, all those things. But I like that they're starting out with some juice in one. Connor Brown, we mentioned all the D pairings switched up as well. And then finally, Stuart Skinner's getting the start. Was pulled in Game 3, allowed 5 goals on 23 shots. The good news, he is Mr. Game 4, 6-0 record in the NHL playoffs with a .955 save percentage in his playoff career and a 1.26 goals against average. I need that version of Stuart Skinner tonight. For the Panthers, their side I need to know, no lineup changes expected, and why would you? 6 different Florida Panthers scored in Game 3. A.J. Greer made his series debut on the 4th line, was an impact. Also, Jake Wallman got fined for trying to beat the shit out of Matthew Tkachuk. That's fair. I feel like A.J. Greer should have got something for going at Matthias Ekholm. Either way, who gives a shit? I mentioned the numbers. If a team goes up 3-1 in the series, they win that series 91% of the time. But if it gets tied 2-2, it is a straight-up 50-50 shot, 300 to 300 and 600 total 7-game series. Truly a coin flip, making tonight truly a must-win. Sergei Bobrovsky will start. He allowed 1 goal on 32 shots in Game 3. He now has a 2.37 goals against and a 9.28 save percentage in the Stanley Cup Finals. That's pretty good. Let's go out. What should we do this for? Let's do it for Budweiser. They've been brewing beer in Edmonton for 45 years. They've teamed up with legendary Edmontonian Mark Messier, St. Albert's own, for their beautiful Edmonton cans. You can get them liquor stores all across the city. Our office at the fridge covered in Budweiser. I bought a 24-pack and a 15-pack just so we would be stocked up. You should do that very, very same thing and head on down to your local liquor store. Super value on Y Road for our pal Liam when he comes back to Sherwood Park. Let's bring him on now. My favorite Englishman live from Amarant Bank Arena. Looking good with a nice little wave there. Liam?
He's recording from his Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, he's doing it from a potato. So keep you very long here, Liam. I just want to get a vibe check. You were down at the Elbow Room for pre-game drinks today. Guard House for Game 3. Obviously, that didn't work. We got to change up absolutely everything. I saw some photos. The Elbow Room looked covered in blue and orange.
Yeah, there was quite a few Oilers fans there, which was good to see. I do feel like the vibe is a little bit better going into this game for Game 3 with the amount of fans I've seen so far. So that's reassuring. But yes, the Elbow Room is full. I spoke to 2 gentlemen who were from Quebec who came down to watch the Oilers game. And then last night when we were at the Elbow Room, there was another 2 gentlemen who were, where'd they come from? Dallas. And they were unfortunately at Game 1 of that series and not any of the other games. So I said, I hope you enjoyed the first 40 minutes. And he said, I did. The next 20 from that went great. But good vibes tonight. I think the Oilers will do pretty well.
Yeah, I like the Edmonton Oilers. We know Stuart Skinner, Mr. Game 4, 6-0, got lit up a little bit in Game 3. I throw the numbers out there. That team, that wasn't even a hockey game. It was a WWE match for the second half of it. But Liam Stuart Skinner, he looks good. Hopefully he can get going here in Game 4. But the Edmonton Oilers decided to change up their decor, and they changed it up thoroughly. I just mentioned how much I love these changes, and I think that they should be going this way for the rest of the Cup Finals. You know Kulak and Bush Wirtz, especially Kulak on his natural left side. For some reason, Stetcher and Darnell Nurse work. And the fact that your wild card pairing is Matthias Ekholm and Jake Wallman, who's doing some of the best hockey of his career right now. What do you think of the new look D pairings? And are you subscribing to my theory? I think we ride this from here on out.
Yeah, I think so. Unless something goes terribly wrong and then you have to change things. But I think for now, this is the way you have to go. I think this is the way they should have started when Ekholm came back anyway, because Tyler said it a few times too, I know, and he just disrupted so much. You have to move someone around in every single pairing, and like, it's not great that Darnell Nurse can only play with one player on the Edmonton Oilers, and that is the lowest paid player that they have. But it's what we've got at the moment, and it's working. I think they're 5-1. We've set her in the lineup. The only loss being the Vegas Golden Knights game, I think. So I'm fine with it. It is tonight, and that pairing, I think all the pairings will be good. But it is kind of funny, like you said, Ekholm and Wallman is the one that's like, I don't really know what's going to happen there, but I think Wallman on the right side is ultimately fine. People seem to be making a bigger deal out of it than it is, but at the end of the day, he's played there basically his entire career on the wrong side.
So what would you say the vibes are like right now in Florida? You've spent the entire day in the nice swampy area of Sunrise and the sort of the suburbs of Fort Lauderdale. Would you say that the outlet mall that you're now hanging out at has a positive and exciting vibe for people who are, maybe leaving like an Old Navy or a Pottery Barn and deciding to go to a hockey game?
I don't know if they know there is a hockey game, if I have to be completely honest. Some people around here, but that's how it is. I think the vibes are pretty positive, to be honest, from both sides. Obviously, Florida have also, I don't know if you can see this, But let me see if I can't turn my camera around, but like this, there's a helicopter down there. You might be able to see it. You probably can. But the owner of the Florida Panthers flies into every single game via helicopter, which is just shows how rich he is. So that's crazy. But I think the overall vibes are, I think, positive from both sides of things. One side of it has to be positive because they have no choice but to cheer on their team. The other side is holding a 2-1 series lead.
I thought you casually hanging out with an NHL goaltender and Logan Thompson was cool today.
Yeah, me too.
On your own private helicopter into your arena, that's pretty fucking sick. There's levels to this. Liam, I don't want to keep you any longer. Final question I got. Give me a score prediction and an anytime goal scorer. Who are we riding with tonight?
I think the final score will be 4-2 Oilers, and I think Connor McDavid will get a goal in the first period. I'll say he gets the first goal of the game. Why not?
I like that. He might be featured in Bordzy's bankroll because Stephen A. Smith was talking shit
There
the
you
other
go.
day. What an idiot. Liam, we love you. I appreciate you. Go have a fun time. And then tomorrow, you will not be on Oilers Nation every day. It's going to be DJ Bean and myself. Tyler and Liam, they're out. We got DJ and Bordzy in. Hopefully we don't fuck it up. Liam, I love you. Good luck tonight.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day.
There he is, my favorite Englishman, as I said. Also, somebody recently tried to correct me and said that Liam's British. No, Liam wants you to say that he's English. I was second guessing it so much. I had to ask him the other week, and I was like, "Have I been lying to people?" Like I thought. No,
if you say that he's British, then
he's very adamant that you call him an Englishman.
Then you might be suggesting he's Scottish or Welsh, then Liam will not be taking that.
See, I don't get it, but I know that I don't get it, so I get it.
The English get it.
You see what I'm saying there? Yes, Brett?
Have you ever heard of Brexit?
Yes.
That's why.
Oh.
They didn't exit from Scotland or Wales.
Either way, we're out of our realm right here, and I don't want to look stupid any more than I have to. So let's go now to our Sherwood Ford Giant storyline, brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giant Nation Valet service going on right now and all the time. They'll come to your home, they'll come to your work, they'll pick up your vehicle, they'll drive it back to the shop. It doesn't even need to be a Ford maker model. They'll do all the service, all the maintenance that needs to be done, and drive it right on back to you before you need to leave the office at the end of the day, or if it's on a weekend, you got to do something that night. Don't worry. Sherwood for the Giants got you covered. The Giant for a reason. My storyline, it's must win. You can see it in all capitals right there. There's no other way to put it. I obviously know that they're capable of coming back from 1-3. However, the way this Florida Panthers team looks right now, I think you need to punch back. The Oilers, obviously, games 1 and 2 go to overtime. They could have had a 2-0 series lead. They also could have been down 0-2 if you want to look at it that way as well. It's been margin thin, razor thin margins here for the Edmonton Oilers against the Panthers. They cannot get sucked into that physical rough and tumble bullshit that the Panthers like to do. And I think the Oilers are going to be very composed, business approach. They might even dig in, if you will. And then furthermore, we call Chris Knobloch the king of adjustments for a reason. His game's 4-7 record looks like that for a reason. And here we are, moving Connor Brown up, Jeff Skinner in, switching up all the deep pairings, throwing in a guy like Troy Stecher. It is truly in Nobby we trust time. It has been ever since he's taken over the Oilers bench. I ain't giving up now. We're riding with Nobby, and I believe in some of these moves. I pray to God that it works out. My storyline, must win. My key to victory, trust in Knobs. What about you?
Yeah, I think you sort of led into my storyline there, which is the lineup changes. It's Troy Stecher on the blue line, Jeff Skinner up front. Which of these two players can go ahead and make a difference in the game? Is it going to be Troy Stecher like he did in October getting into a fight with Sean Couturier? Is it going to be Jeff Skinner as he's done in the, 2 playoff games he's played this year, 2 points? When he comes to the lineup, he produces. That's just what he does. That's sort of who he has been as a player. And I mean, this is someone who spent the first decade plus of his career between Carolina and Buffalo, which at those times, hellholes to be in a part of, teams that are very bad. So look, you're in the Stanley Cup final now. Seize the opportunity. I think it'll be interesting to see what these 2 players inserted in the lineup can do.
I'm seeing more bots in the chat on Oilers Nation, the YouTube page, than anything ever before. And also, Brett, do we have Calgary Flames trolls in the chat right now?
Yes.
Brother, I don't care if you don't like Edmonton. We don't even think about it. I didn't even forgot you guys were hanging around.
This is par for the course.
Flames Nation barn burners just O-N-E.
We're well aware that there's nothing to talk about for the Calgary Flames. We are well aware.
Their name is
You don't have to remind us.
Their name is Ducati in the chat, and they said us in Calgary hate the Oilers. So I responded, "That's nice, Ducati. Us in Edmonton forget the Flames even exist."
Yeah, they got a team out there. That's.
I've never been to
Oh,
I've never
yeah,
been to
the Calgary Canucks. Shit, I forgot
The
about
Dinos.
that. Oh,
The Dinos,
My
brother. The
cousin
Dinos.
plays
So
there.
Either way,
cool.
all in good fun. We love
So
the
exciting.
subscription. Thank you for getting in there, and we appreciate you. Brett, if you want to pull it up, just the projected Edmonton Oilers lineup, what we're looking at one more time. Your top line, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. It's got the little warning there. Don't worry. We're expecting him that he's going to be good to go. Nuge, McDavid, and Connor Brown on the top line. Your second line, Evander Kane, who, brother, you can't be taking penalties 200 feet away from your own net, especially when the Oilers are on the power play. Something tells me Kaner's going to dig deep here and find another level. He playing with Leon Draisaitl and Kasperi Cheeks-Klapanen. Your third line, Jeffrey Scotty Skinner with Adam Henrique and Trent Frederick. And your fourth, Vasily Podkolzin with the janitor and Corey Perry. Your deep pairings. And I'm very curious to what realm we're going to see these guys be moved along in. But according to DFO, the top pairing, Ekholm with Wallman. Second pairing, Kulak with Evan Bouchard. And your third pairing, Darnell Nurse with our pal, Troy Stetcher. So first thing, I want to do my Stephen A. Smith rant right now because I don't know if you guys saw this or if you even fucking know who Stephen A. is because we live up here in Calgary. Either way, he's the
We
loudest.
live where?
Whoa, in Edmonton.
Whoa,
I got
whoa,
Calgary
whoa,
up right.
whoa.
See, that guy got in my head. Either way, take two. Stephen A. Smith, he does first take. He's famous for yelling at the camera. He's just the loudest guy in sports media that exists. He knows basketball. He knows his football. He's been very vocal in the past. He doesn't know hockey, and that's why it's so tough to watch him talk about Connor McDavid. I pointed out when you're making PK Subban look like the smartest guy in the room. That's pretty crazy. Brett, can you roll the clip for us?
Let me tell you why I have a problem with what you're saying. First of all, Edmonton got blown out. We understand they got romped. We get that part. Connor McDavid, 13 shots, no goals, 0, nothing in the Stanley Cup. And oh, by the way, this is a 3-time league MVP. No championship, maybe the greatest that has never won. These are the kind of things you were talking about him from last year.
Okay.
So here we are again, same opponent, same situation, same problem.
Okay.
When do you get to hold a superstar accountable if not under these conditions?
What are we even doing here? What are we even talking about? Did you not see Connor McDavid tangle through the entire Florida Panthers team, put it on a platter for Leon Draisaitl? So many things out of that clip. First off, PK's face when it cuts to him at one point and he's looking at him, he's just like, is he actually doing this right now? Second, take that fucking hat off, Stephen A. I don't know what you're doing. Third, why are you talking about NHL hockey? I understand that, like, for most sports, right, if it's a quarterback or in the NBA, your star players touch the ball that much. They need to put up their 30 points. Hockey isn't that. It frustrates me that I'm even talking about this. I've let it upset me way too much. Connor McDavid's been fine in this series. He's looked fantastic. But because of this, once again, Connor McDavid, he don't give a shit what Stephen A. says. He hasn't seen this clip in any degree. I'm riding with the Connor McDavid anytime goal solely because throughout the history of Stephen A.'s career, I have seen him say outlandish, crazy things, and then the next day on First Take, absolutely blow up in his face. So I'm riding with the Connor McDavid anytime goal, plus 160 this evening on Bet365. Kumzi, Stephen A. should be banned from talking about NHL hockey because that take is horrific.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen A., we sort of know what to expect. Like, this is what he does. And I mean, if Stephen A. and ESPN, whatever, this is broadcast by TNT, I think it might have been, if they're going to be talking about hockey, then what they're going to be doing is creating a wedge issue that's going to pit Group A against Group B.
And it worked.
And it worked really well. Like, every single Canadian is going to see this clip about Connor McDavid and be like, oh, it's, you know, like Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless on their show for a decade would go back and forth, and one guy would take this side, the other guy would take this side.
Max
and
Kellerman did it too.
Exactly, yeah. They would just have wedge issues going back and forth. You know, LeBron James didn't show up and do this.
Have you ever seen the clip of Skip Bayless arguing himself about LeBron James? It's like from two different years, and he's going about why he's the GOAT, why he's not.
They talk about it before. They know. They're just like, all right, our whole goal here is to just present both sides of a wedge issue. And I mean, this doesn't even make sense. There's no issue to be made that the Oilers are losing in this series because of Connor McDavid. That's just simply not the case. Everyone knows it isn't the case, but that's just what's going to get people pissed off. So as soon as you get to the point where you're in the Stanley Cup final and the American media is paying attention to you, this is what you're going to get. American style, CNN, Fox News. That's what they do.
And it's crazy that I'm sitting here going, thank God for PK Subban to talk some sense into him at least. But I digress. Let's go now. Starting goaltender report brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. It's summertime. It's outdoor toy season. Go on down. Check out their speedboats, pontoon boats, ATVs, side-by-side, scooters. They've got it all down there, just down the road from Sherwood Ford the Giant in the heart of Sherwood Park. Also, much like Sherwood Ford the Giant, they'll do some maintenance on your stuff in the boat. They got a 70,000-liter test pool in the back. That's what I'm talking about, Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Their beauties. Also, they love talking puck. They love talking ball. And we love talking to them. Bert, can you pull up the tape between our two goaltenders this evening? Stuart Skinner and Sergei Bobrovsky. One of them playing lights out. Bobrovsky, 237 goals against, 928 save percentage. Stuart Skinner, 3.74 goals against with an 866 save percentage. But Kumzi, fret not, brother. It's game 4, and it's Mr. Game 4. Stuart Skinner getting ready to go. I talked about it. Owns a perfect 6-0 record, a 1.26 goals against, a 955 save percentage. That will also be the answer to a trivia question later here down at Greta Bar-Yeg. But this man just gets better as the series moves along. Brett, I think we have another tweet in here that shows his numbers, games 1 through 3, and then 4 through 7. So 1 through 3. Oh, did I do that? Whoops. Stuart Skinner's lifetime playoff stats. 9-18 record in games 1 to 3, 875 save percentage. Then games 4 to 7, he turns it on. 17-3, 922 save percentage, I think. Goes hand in hand. Holy shit, is Duke's here? Oh my God. All the way from Australia? Either way, Stuart Skinner, absolutely incredible. I just lost my entire train of thought. He came out. You got to get down to Greta Park. Hey, Dukes is here. Thoughts, Stuart Skinner. Those numbers are insane.
Yeah, Stuart Skinner, we're sort of hoping that what happened last year at this exact time is what happens again. Stuart Skinner was quite bad for the Oilers in games 1, 2, and 3 of last year's Stanley Cup Finals, and then got a lot better in the latter part of that series. And that's sort of been the theme for Stuart Skinner in the playoffs through his NHL career, is just first half of the series, feeling it out, not that good, and then second half of the series really locks in. So that's what the Oilers need. Stuart Skinner was their MVP against the Dallas Stars, and he's kind of gone downhill in this series against Florida. Fine in game 1, not great in game 2, not good at all in game 3, pulled in game 3. So yeah, bad in game 3, and we're hoping now we've gone through it. He's got the bad out of him, and we can start moving up again.
Everybody got the bad out in game 3. Everybody got it out. Everybody shit it out. Also, Brett, I am so happy that I didn't drive to Greta now, that I know Dukes is here. All my buddies just walked in. Plus 125 on the money line. Let's go, Oilers. Let's go now. The away lineup brought to you by Greta Bar-Yeg. We're going to be down here every single game of the Cup Final, which after tonight, the maximum of 3 games remaining in the Cup Final. Only 3 more hockey games after tonight that you can watch, 4 in total, including tonight. You might as well spend them down at Greta Bar-Yeg. Arcade, bar, street food, all kinds of prizes, giveaways, T-shirt toss. I'm doing Wilhock beef jerky tosses tonight. We're going to do a split the G contest. Brett, trying to keep it serious here, brother. We're trying to do split the G in the first intermission. Then you're going to get a winner from that. Then in the second intermission, we're going to do Oilers Nation Ice is Right trivia. Then a winner of that is going to go head-to-head with the first period winner. And I'm going to make them hang on that bar. You know, the hanging one that time so long you're there. We're going to see who the strongest man is. They're going to walk away with a 2 or woman. Could be a woman. Or they'll then win a $250 gift card to Wilhock Beef Jerky. One of the many awesome things we do down here at Greta Bar-Yeg. It's an awesome time. Bert, pull it up for me. No changes expected to the Panthers for Hagee, Barkov, Sam Reinhart. Your second line, Rodriguez, Sam Bennett, and Matthew Tkachuk. Third line, the Killers, Eetu Luostarinen, Anton Lundell, and Brad Marchand. Fourth line, AJ Greer, who made an impact in Game 4 with Thomas Nosek and Jonah Gadjevich. Your D pairings, Forsling with Ekblad, Mikula with Seth Jones, Nate Schmidt with Dmitry Kulikov. And frankly, we're running out of time, so we're just going to keep on powering through. Right to Bordzy's Bankroll, brought to you by Bet365. Download the app today, because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You can bet on money lines, puck lines, power play points tonight, maybe a Connor McDavid anytime goal, maybe a Jeff Skinner point This will be his third game in the playoffs. He's got a point in each of his first two. Can he continue to let it ride? And tonight, I'm riding with the Oilers, okay? I was thinking, I've been chirped a lot because I'm doing a lot of minus bets. So this evening, we're going all pluses. We're going for the juice. Your first option, Evan Bouchard, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4+ shots on goal, currently plus 120. Game 1, 7 shots. Game 2, 8 shots. Game 3, 9 shots on goal. By my calculations, he should get 10 this evening, but I'm just asking for 4. I'm not going to get greedy, plus 120. Then the second one, Connor McDavid, anytime goal, plus 160. He's been around it. The fact that Stephen A was chirping, talking shit, I just think the universe is going to reward McDavid. He's gone 3 games without scoring. I think tonight we're going to see him dig in, forgive the pun, whatever. And then the next one, it's the one I love the most with the juice, the odds. Connor Brown, 1+ point. He's going to be top line right wing with Nuge and Connor McDavid. Like that from Brownie. There's been an emphasis from Nobby. We're going to roll with speed. We're going to possess the puck. We know Brownie can do that. He's a dog on the bone on the forecheck. I like him for 1+ point. And at plus 185, that's some juice that is worth the squeeze. Kumzi, when you look at these 3 bets, which one do you like the most?
I like the Connor McDavid one. I feel like Stephen A's the same guy. Stephen A. Smith going out of his way to bring up Connor McDavid is just kind of putting him out there to be the main character in the U.S. media landscape, sports media landscape. So given that this comment was made, I think it's going to be just setting the stage perfectly for Connor McDavid to score a huge goal in this game.
Here we go. We'll let that one marinate in the chat. Parlayed together, plus 1,400. Bet responsibly. Only bet what you're willing to lose when you do so, in fact. But come on, people. We ride. We're going with the ship. Bert, anything down? What do you like the most out of these 3?
Nothing down. Thinking of changing things up depending on how tonight goes. But I honestly like them all. I understand the thinking behind all of them.
Stephen A. Skip just killed me. That killed me.
I think I might go boost shots. I think they're going to kind of power through the shots. I think it was Dube who was talking about getting shots to the net. And no, sorry, Dube. It was Jason Demers who was saying just hammer head high, chest high, make them remember who's shooting the puck, and then all of a sudden maybe they might get out of the way a little bit.
Jason Demers has been saying that. Dube's been yelling that from mountaintop ever since game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's a little bit of housekeeping. Quickly, Oodle Noodle, shout out to them. It's game day. They got their game day promo going on right now. Everything gets so rushed on game day. You got no time to cook. They got their game day promo. 2 signature boxes, 2 spring rolls for $29.97. Sounds delicious and affordable. And I'm happy to report Walls pulled a beauty move today. And at 11 a.m. came upstairs in the studio and he goes, Bords, what do you want from Oodle Noodle? I think I'm going to take advantage of the game day promo. I got me a hot tie box. Got 1 spring roll because we split it. It's beautiful from Waz. Guy does a lot of dumb stuff. That one was absolutely beautiful. He's doing push-ups on the railing right now. You got to get down to Greta because I got a feeling something special is brewing tonight. But you mentioned our pal Devan Dubnyk. Let's bring him on. His appearance is brought to you by Tourism Jasper because this summer, find your happy place in Jasper. From hiking trails, paddling wild waters, or sharing laughs by the fire, happiness finds you here. Jasper's open, vibrant, and ready to welcome you back for more unforgettable moments. Drive over, play outside, soak up the fresh air, enjoy some food and drink, and maybe even stay up late because your best summer memories aren't behind you. They're waiting for you this summer in Jasper. Plan your trip at jasper.travel/summer as we bring them on. Dubes. Just getting ready to get my voice activated to yell stew a shit ton in this hockey game because it's game 4, Dubes. That's Stuart Skinner's territory. My first question to you, I kind of asked it to Kumzi here. Did that blowout loss change your outlook or your opinion on this series as a whole? I've been consistent from before game 1. This series is going 7, but I do think there's been some discussion online in the media fan base. I don't know, man. They kind of got dog walk there. I also think having to sit on this loss for 2 days, then you add the way it finished in the end, the third period, wasn't even a hockey game. I don't know. Did that blowout loss change your opinion of this series and the Oilers' chances?
Not at all. We talked about it before too. Post game, really, it wasn't the way it looked at the end. I mean, the game got away. Obviously, we know the way it finished. But if you look at leading in, that was, it was a couple mistakes that ended up in the back of the net, and they weren't able to stage that comeback. You look at the first period, they're down 2-0. They score at the start of the second, kind of what they've done. Even at 3-1, I thought they got away from it a little bit. They've been so good all playoffs and just sticking to what they're doing. That's why they've had so many multi-goal comebacks. So you never feel like they're out of it. And it didn't really feel like they were out of it. Obviously, once the fourth goal happened, that was kind of it. And it's a danger. And then the game gets away. The penalties and everything. I don't even look at the second half of that game. So Florida's a great hockey team. Edmonton got away from their game plan. They got hopefully everything off of their chest that they needed to get off. And it's a full reset button. What was last year? 8-1. The Oilers won, something like that. It doesn't matter if it's 1-0 or 8-1. A win is a win. It's one in the series, and these games have been too good. Games 1 and 2 too good. Even like I said, that last game was not the way it was for half of the game. So Edmonton just needs to clean up what they're doing, get their discipline in check, get back to what they do. Don't fall into Florida's game. We talked about that. That's what Florida does, and it's easier said than done. But they need to stick with what they're doing. Stay out of the scrums. Don't let the refereeing, the penalties, whatever it's going to be. Hopefully there's not 35 penalties today. But just don't let it affect what you're doing. And I think this is, we talked about this being a veteran group for this entire playoffs who's been through everything, and they've seen it all. This is their second trip now to the Cup Finals. And I think you're going to see a group that threw last game away and is ready to go tonight.
You talk about needing to reset, because obviously it's never easy to get blown out, dog walked, whatever you want to say, what the Florida Panthers did in Game 3. The Oilers have had 2 days to sit on this loss. Tuesday was a scheduled practice. Wednesday was an optional one where basically the whole team showed up, which to me indicates, hey, it's shit or get off the pot time here. There's nothing besides business here for the Edmonton Oilers. We saw in the last game, you go down a man pretty instantly in that hockey game. Special teams, it got out of control for the Oilers. Panthers went 3 for 11 on the power play, and then even more so to add on, the Oilers went 1 for 6 with the man advantage. So they had plenty of opportunities to find their way back into this hockey game. I think the Panthers on the PK, they've been very good. What do you think about the special teams battle tonight? It so often is in close hockey games with these tight, razor-thin margins. Special teams is the difference. It'd be nice for the Oilers to be on the positive side of that for once the series here.
Yeah, they need to be. It's not very often that you're on the negative side of that and end up on the right side of the scoreboard. And the power play, we know how potent it could be. It just hasn't been able to get going. I think the looks have been there. I don't mind the power play as much. The PK is something that we constantly talk about, just needing to get it cleaned up, and that starts with staying out of the box. It's hard for anybody to kill. I mean, again, there's no point in looking at the fact that there was 11 power plays, because we know how that the second half of the game went. But even without that, there's just been way too many power plays, and that's partially due to the way the refs have been calling the game. But it's also something that they have to keep in mind. If that's the way the game's going to be called, if the special teams aren't going in your favor, then you got to find a way to try to keep it 5-on-5, because I do think the Oilers, for the most part, have been very good 5-on-5. So if it does get into penalties, then they're going to need to find a way to tighten up the PK. Like we've talked about, it seems like the only real way is to make sure we're getting clears. I'd like to see that box just more structure and protect the middle of the ice more on the PK. And the power play is capable of doing great things. They need to go out and execute. And so, as far as creating chances and structure and all that, they got one of the best power plays in the world, and they're capable of doing it. So they just need to go out and execute that. But it's going to be a huge part of this game. It has been. They've kind of gotten away a little bit with it throughout the playoffs with the PK. But if they can shut down on the PK, then if you get power play goals, then it's a bonus. But I think more importantly is not getting scored on in the PK. And if you can just come out even on the special teams, I like their chances.
This isn't an elimination game yet, but it feels as we get this far in the series, it feels like Game 4, given the
This
context.
is must win. This is must win territory.
Yeah, it feels like a must win game. Do you think the Oilers are going to come out with a bit more desperation in Game 4 than we've seen earlier from the series? Like, how do you think their game is going to differ now that they know if we lose, we're going to go down 3-1 in this thing?
Yeah, I think they have to approach it that way with how good Florida is and how much we talked about how good of a team they are, how hard they are to play against. You have to treat this game like if you go down 3-1, of course it's not over. but winning 3 games in a row against the Florida Panthers is very, very difficult. Whereas you come out in this one and you win, again, I don't need to tell you this stuff, but you win, it's a brand new series. So this game needs to be treated like Game 7 if you're the Oilers. And when you're approaching every single shift, you never know which shift that you step on the ice is going to be the difference in the game, one way or the other. And so guys need to be focused. And again, with this group, the way they've conducted themselves for the entire playoffs, if they can just put that together where every single shift there is 100% focus stepping on the ice, knowing that this could be the difference one way or the other in a game, trying not to give up those breakaways or going out and having a good forecheck and creating some chances on the other side. You don't know which one it's going to be that's going to change it. If it's a random shift in the first period or one late in the third, it doesn't matter at what point in the game. They have to treat every single shift like it is do or die tonight.
Got to go the extra mile, empty the clip, whatever you want to say. And I think one man who does that better than anyone, Troy Stecher, HDMH. Height doesn't measure heart. He comes back in the lineup. Brett, can you just pull up the D pairings one more time? Also, shout out Stetch. Some of the best flow in the league. Look at that shit right there. But Nobby, he's the king of adjustments. He's changing up a couple things. Connor Brown, top line. Jeff Skinner comes into the lineup in replace of Victor Arvidsson. But you look at that decor. Switching up a little bit of everything. I'm a huge fan of this. Depends which way you look at these. I don't know what the first, second, or third pairing is. And that's what I like about it. We know Kulak and Bush work well together, especially Kulak on his left side. Stecher and Nurse, they work together. We keep talking about it. We don't know why. That Troy Stecher is the Darnell Nurse whisperer, but he is, and I'm not going to fight it in any way. And that if your wild card, in quotations, pairing is going to be Ekholm and Wallman, I like the Edmonton Oilers look here on the back end. Thoughts on pre-gaming heading into it on these changes for the decor by Chris Knobloch?
Yeah, it's good. And you know, it's unfortunate for Klingberg because he has been amazing for the entire playoffs. But, you know, the ugliness reared a little bit last game with the turnovers. And those happened when the game was in reach, you know, when they scored to make it 2-1. We talked about, you know, skating into the referee, and those are the things that you knew were a possibility with Klingberg playing, but he hadn't done it all playoffs. He'd been strictly a positive influence for the team. And last game, the third goal and the fourth goal, obviously just hanging on. We know he wants to make plays, but both times, third and fourth goal against, he unwisely held on for too long. They created 2 goals against, 1 clear-cut breakaway that just there's no play to be had, and he forced it a little bit. So I think that it's unfortunate because he has been great for them, but I think it's a good move. Get Stecher in. He was good when he was in there. Obviously, he's reliable. Maybe Nurse feels like he can open up a little bit. And not like Darnell's gonna go full offense at any point in time, but he might feel comfortable with Stecher back there, and for whatever reason they work together. So it's a good move after last game, and we'll see how it plays out.
Final one for you. Score prediction, anytime goal scorer. Dubes, what's happening tonight?
I'm going 3-1 Oilers, and let's go downtown Connor Brown being on that top line. I think that one point is at plus 185 is genius. If you could, I might get a point with Connor McDavid. Maybe not the Stanley Cup final, but guy as skilled as Connor Brown, you get placed on that top line, there's a pretty good chance of you getting a point.
I think there's going to be some emphasis on speed. And the fact that you like that one, plus 1,400. I'm going for it tonight, Dubes. The bankroll.
I wish I was there.
That's true. I do too. I need you to be here because I went perfect with you by my side. Either way, we love you. We'll talk to you for Oilers Nation After Dark hockey game. Hopefully breaking down an Edmonton Oilers W. Good luck. Over and out.
See you, boys.
There he is, Devan Dubnyk. Final one I want to do. I'm going to get your score predictions and goal scores, but boys, we got some super chats right now the reminder, all your super chats in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation and a simple man. He's in here. His name is Cup. Yeah. He's in 270. Wait, did that work? Brett, I can't show it up on the screen. Can you do it? 279.99. Aye, Oilers. The Panthers prowl, fierce and proud, but they know not the fury that rides from the north. With courage in your chests and ice in your veins, show them the strength of true warriors. Tonight, we fight. Tonight, we conquer. For Edmonton, for glory, for the Oilers. Cup, yeah.
I thought you were going to say tonight we dine in hell. That's where I thought that was going.
I just turned that into a miracle. Tonight, we skate with them. Tonight, we shut them down. I can't put them on the screen, Brett, so you're going to have to do it. Mackay and Dry, $6.99. Bordzy Bars, $29. Holy F. Here comes Jeff. Dude has playoff stats better than Steph. Troy, a stud, just like Hef. Holy shit, my whole computer just crashed out on there. Brett, pick it up for me.
Troy, a stud, just like Hef. Just please, no bad calls from the ref. Cup, F.
I like that. Okay, Jordan's in. Now it's working again. I reloaded. $6.99. Jeff Skinner, game-winning goal. Book it. Cup, yeah.
Cup, yeah.
Then, Mistaken Mexicans in. 150 bangers. Says, been slacking on my donations and Oilers are losing. For Ben, let's go Oilers. Hope will never fucking die. Bet Oil win, McDavid goal, and Bush over 5.5 shots to manifest Tyler's shot prop win. Oil up. Tyler needs 30. Evan Bouchard already has 24 shots on goal throughout this series. I love all of you in the chat. You guys are fantastic. Here we go. It's must-win territory for the Oilers here. I'm riding on the money line. Also, $350.44 raised for the Ben Stelter Foundation before the game. You guys are the best. You're the best. Brett, you're the best. Dube's the best. Shout out Liam and Connor McDavid. Anytime goals. Suck it, Stephen A. Let's go. Good luck to everybody out there in the Bet365 Battlegrounds. I'm hosting a party. Come on down to Greta, and then we'll be live right after from this spot in Greta, hopefully breaking down an Oilers W. Good luck. Over and out.